Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Inuyasha and the decks that you can make from this set. We're going to start off with Inuyasha, then we're going to go to Miriko, Naruko, and then Sesshomaru. We're going to be talking about our rare battles and open IP and how good they are in each format. We're going to start off with our Inuyasha deck. We have our four raid targets Inuyashas. We have our four Kageyome that draws a card, pitches a card. We have our one cost searcher for Kageyome, which is also a raid target. We have our fake zero Inuyasha. We have four of those. We have three of the Shippos, which is also another fake zero. And when you played, you get to look at the top card. You can either sideline it or you can leave it on top. You have the three cost Inuyasha, who is a double energy, and he draws a card when he's at 4K or more. You have your three cost Kikyo, which is your other double energy. She either rests Inuyasha to restand herself or to rest a character on your opponent's side. We have our 4-2 Inuyasha, which is our double damage. We have three of those guys. We have four of the raid Inuyashas, which gives us double attack or impact. We have four of our Kageyome, who is our raid and cannot be blocked by 4Ks. We have four of the colored triggers that rest an Inuyasha in order to draw an extra card, and if you rested an Inuyasha, you get an action point back. Four finals and four specials. And now we're going to get into our key cards of the decks. We have our 4-cost Inuyasha Raid. Its effect is once per turn when this character's attack is not blocked, draw a card. Activate main once per turn. You can only activate this ability if this character will switch from active to resting by one of your abilities this turn. Switch this character to active and give it 1000 and impact 1 until the end of the turn. If the character was played this turn, you may give it double attack instead. This is your main attacker, the body you want to rest the most to get its full effects. You don't want to play him out if you cannot rest him that same turn to give a double attack. Our next card is going to be our Kageyami Raid. Um, Her effect is when played, play up to one red Inuyasha or Kageyami Hiyashi card with 3 or less required energy and 1 AP from your hand set to resting onto your field. Activate main if on the front line once per turn. Switch one active Inuyasha on your front line to resting. If you do, this character cannot be blocked by 4K or more until the end of the turn, and you choose one other character on your field and it gains 1000 until the end of the turn. This is what messes with your opponent's blocking, and you can get some very nasty blocking situations from your opponents and make them get rid of cards or just poke a damage through. It's really good. It's probably one of the best cards in the deck, to be honest. So now we're getting into our last key card of the deck, which is our 3-cost Kikyo with Nullify Impact. Its effect is activate main once per turn. You can only activate this ability on the turn this character is played. Switch one active Inuyasha on your front line to resting. If you do, choose one of the following. Switch this character to active. It gains 1000 until the end of the turn. Choose up to one character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. This is just a really good card. Get it out of life. You poke a damage guaranteed. You need energy, but you still want to rest a card to poke even more damage. You play this in the back line and you still get to use its effect. It's just a good all-around card that can get around a lot of characters. So now we're going to get into some cards that are worth testing. We have our 2-cost Kageyome Higurashi, that's a double energy. You want to play this if you are running out of energy or you need more targets to play off the raid. It just allows you to be more free with your Kikyo and your Inuyasha and being able to push those up in order to push more damage. The next card that's worth testing is our 4-cost Koga. He is another 4K that comes in active onto the field, but if he's 4K or less BP, you have to bring it back to your hand at the end of the attack phase. So you lose a blocker unless you're able to BP boost him. In the decks shown, you would have to run the 0-cost that BP boost, or if you have a Kagome raid, you can boost them up with that one. But that's only 8 cards that you would run in order to BP boost to keep him on the field. But yeah, if you want to try him out, get another 4K on the field, you can. And the last card that I would say is worth testing is our 2-cost site that searches for any Inuyasha or any Kagome. In case you're not seeing your bodies or what you need to see, you want to guarantee it with the site. I don't know if I would run more than 2 sites because you can't push them up to defend yourself, but it's definitely worth considering running at one to search when you need one more body in order to win the game. This deck is going to be one of the better decks coming out of this set, and I believe that it will be the best pick for rare battles, and it's actually going to be I would put it in tier 1.5 because of how aggressive it is and the amount of like stuff you can do in order to take games, and it can absolutely compete against Shadow Army and Sakamoto Days. So this is a very good deck. If you like this set, then I would say invest into this one because this one will be around for a while. So the next deck we're going to be talking about is our Miracle deck. It's an event-based deck that you remove event cards from the Miracle. The deck has 4 0-cost Sangos, which is your top deck check, 4 Miracle raid targets, 4 1-cost Sango Searcher, 4 Sheepos, 4 Draw Pitch Miracle, 2-cost. We have 4 double energies Sangos. We have 1, 3, 2 Toto that brings back any event from the sideline back to your hand. And we have our 4-color trigger Miracles. That's also a double energy. We have 4 of the Sangos, which allows you to draw and is impact. 4 of the Miracles, which can get rid of bodies, getting rid of event cards. We have our 2-cost Hira, which rests an opponent, rest a character's opponent, rest an opponent's character, and if it's pitched, then you get to draw a card. We have 4 finals. We have 4 barriers, which allow you to draw 2 cards and pitch 2 cards, and you get your AP back. And we have 4 wind tunnels. Getting into the key cards of our deck, our first one is our 5-cost Miracle, whose effect is when played, place any number of event cards into your sideline, and from your sideline into your move area, choose up to one character with 25 or less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. If Sun goes on your field, for each card placed in your sideline into your move area with this ability, add 500 BP range of the character you may choose with this ability. It's just a popper. Get rid of bodies or threats. The next key card we're gonna be talking about is our Sango. She is an impact 1. When played, draw a card, then place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. If Miracle's on your field, you draw 2 cards instead. It's just your cycle, you get to see more of your cards. And then that brings us into our last key card of the deck, which is gonna be our barrier. It's draw 2 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand into your sideline. If Miracle is on your field, switch one of your APs to active. So basically, the whole point is run through your entire deck, find your Sangos to get 4K impact, and then use your Miracle to pop bodies and get them off the field, all while keep cycling through your deck. We focus more on the barrier for this deck, just so you can keep on cycling over and over again. Getting into the cards worth testing, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think this deck should be changed. The only thing I would play around with are the ratios. It's a very straightforward deck, man. Like, I mean, you can try to go for a hybrid, but just drawing your entire deck is just better than what else you can do with it. Overall, I believe this is gonna be a good budget rare battle pick. In terms of the meta, I think it's a little too slow to compete in the meta, but it's a good budget pick overall that can last you and win you some locals. The next deck we're going to be talking about is our Naruko deck. We're going to have our 4 Onigumos with sideline draw a card, 4 Kagura, which is your draw 1 pitch 1, 4 of the raid target, which allows you to look at the top 2 or top 1. You have 1 cost searcher when sidelined, and then you have the basic 1 cost searcher for any faction affinity. You have your color triggers, 4 of. You have 4 double energy Kagura, which allows you to give a body to be able to swing under 4K. You have your Karma, that is your another double energy and puts bodies under each Naruko. We have 4 of the 4 cost Kagura, which brings back a 2 cost or less body onto the field. And you have 4 of the 4 cost Naruko, which restands himself when activate main and gives himself impact. And then we have our raid target, our raid Naruko. We have 4 finals, 1 fusion, and then four specials. Getting into the key cards of the deck, our big one is our 4 cost raid. His effect is this character gains all abilities below if it has a required number of face down cards under it, 2 or more. If this character would leave the field, return this card to your hand instead. 3 or more when this rated character is returned from your field to your hand, and the base is 2 or less required energy, and it's now in your sideline. You may play that base card set to resting onto your field. Activate main once per turn. You may place 1 Naruko faction affinity or Shikon jewel shard card from your sideline face down under a Naruko on your field. So essentially this card is your main defense. You keep this 4K pretty much all game, and if your opponent wants to get rid of it, force you to play an AP, you don't lose the raid. But if your opponent leaves it on the field and you get to a full field, you can start blocking with him for free. Going into the next card that we're going to be talking about is our Kagura card. Her effect is when played, play up to 1 purple character with 2 costs or less energy and 1 AP cost from your sideline set to rest on your field. This character gains at the end of the main phase. Sideline this character until the end of the turn. So here you want to bring out these cards specifically. You got your searchers. You have your when sideline, either searcher or the 0 cost that draws you a card, or you have your raid targets. Either way, you use this to come back, or you use this to push yourself ahead and bring in more stuff. You could also use it with your 4 cost Naruko that sidelines a character to set himself active and give himself impact. The next card we're going to talk about is our double energy Kagura. When played, look at the top card of your deck, then place it at the top or into your sideline. Activate main once per turn. Choose up to 1 Naruko affinity card on your field. It gains this cannot be blocked by a character with 4K or more until the end of the turn. Sideline 1 other faction affinity on your field. This is just another way to get damage through. If they have a board full of 4Ks, it's essentially an impact. Or you also get to fill up your sideline in order to keep using the raid target's effect to put it under him. This is just another win con. It's a pretty important win con. You can also use this with the 4 cost that brings out another body and use that body to sideline it to give another character cannot be blocked by 4K or more. Overall, I would say this is a pretty weak choice in the meta and in rare battles, just because it really doesn't have any pressure going on. You have a lot of 4Ks. You have impact cannot be blocked by 4Ks as well. But if you're going up against a removal deck or like a super aggro deck, you're not going to have enough times to get 3 names under the Naruko. And if you do, it'll probably be 1 at a time instead of having multiple. And there's also extra removal in the red deck. There's extreme aggro with Inuyasha. It's just one of the weakest decks just because it cannot compete either in rare battle or in IP, in open IP. And last but not certainly not least, we have our Sesshomaru deck. Our build is pretty straightforward. You're focusing mostly on the 5/2 and the 6 cost while pushing up babies in order to either block out with them or deal damage quick. We have 4 Jonkin, we have 4 Kagura, which is your draw one pitch one. We have 4 Color Trigger Jonkin, which searches the entire deck. We have 4 Fake Zeros for Sesshomaru. We have 4 Rins that, when played from an ability, she restands a Sesshomaru to active. This is the target you always want for the 5/2. We have 4 Aun, which is pushes up a body from your energy line to your front line. We have 4 Nullify Impact Sesshomarus. We have 3 Rins that draw you a card when played by an ability. Or not. It draws you a card if there's a Sesshomaru on your field. We have 2 Kaguras, 4 Sesshomarus, 2 AP, and 4 6 cost Sesshomarus. We have 4 finals. We have one of the events that allows you to bring back a body and it gives you a draw one pitch one. And we have 4 specials. The important card of the deck, I would say, is the 6 cost Sesshomaru. Its effect is during your turn, if one of your characters have been played from the sideline this turn, this character gains 500 BP and impact 1. When played, play up to 1 purple character with 3 or less energy, 1 cost, 1 AP cost, and no affinities from your sideline set to resting onto your field. Um, he is your main blocker. He's gonna be the guy that gets targeted the quickest with the special because he is a 45 and it's essentially a free block for most of the decks. The next card that we're going to talk about is our 5/2 Sesshomaru. Its effect is during your turn, if one of your characters have been played from the sideline this turn, this character gains damage 2. When played, play up to 1 purple card with 3 or less required energy, 1 AP cost, and no affinity from your sideline set to resting onto your field. With this card, you're always going to want to play out the 2 cost Rin that restands a character, so that way you can restand this Sesshomaru and go damage 2 straight off the play. And then the last card that we're going to be talking about, we have talked about in the previous one, but it's just so good, we'll talk about it again, is our 4 cost Kagura. Her effect is when played, play up to 1 purple character card with 2 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your sideline set to rest on your field. This character gains at the end of the main phase. Sideline the character until the end of the turn. This one you essentially want to use it for your 2 cost Rin, being able to restand a Sesshomaru double energy, or if you have a 5/2 and they stunned it, you can restand it as well. If not, then you can bring back your draw one pitch one in order to keep drawing more cards. Or you can bring out a raid target for Sesshomaru. You can bring out the raid target for Sesshomaru and raid over it in case you don't have any on your field. This deck plays a lot, I would say, like Shadow Army, because you are able to block for free a lot of the times, and then you just bring back the bodies from the sideline using your 5/2 or your raid or even the event. The pressure isn't really there, which is why we're maxed out on the 5/2, just because if you don't see either your raid or your 5/2, or they special it right off the rip and you don't get an extra turn with them, you're kind of behind, which is why we're running a little bit less 4Ks and running a little bit more bottom end, so we always have something to push early on and we use our double damage or our impact to finish the game. This deck will be decent and open IP, and I think it's going to be a pretty solid pick because you are able to counteract the aggression coming from Inuyasha for rare battles. But for open IP, I'd probably place this at like a tier 2.5 deck just because it's missing extra pressure. But for rare battles, I'd probably say it's the third best. I still think the red colors is just overall better. But yeah, that has been the deck list profile, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.